All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to my class. Welcome back to Class with the Counselor. Yours truly, Mr. James Horton. All right? Yeah. Today's get down is going to be about choosing security over maturity. Got that? It's called choosing security over maturity. Let's see how that unfolds. When it comes to choosing a relationship partner today, it seems to be a lot of different than it was in many of our grandparents' days when the person you chose had to meet your parent, family members before they could even go out with you on a date. Today's choices are mostly based on the image of security and the things that someone has or what they look like versus maturity of who they are and where they're going in life. We got this stage where we're looking at, what they look like, if they're looking sexy, driving a nice car like this girl here, is the man or whatever possesses a house, and we're looking for some level of security, to where we're going to be banked up or we're going to be secure. We ain't got to be worried about welfare or something like that. We can just wait on that well person, that well man, that well woman, like a welfare system, and we ain't got to do too much, so we think, so we got that kind of stuff going on. So, questions, when you choose, I have chosen relationship partners. Do you choose partners because of the car they are driving or the high-priced clothes that they may be wearing? Do you choose them for what they're driving, if they got some gold on their fingers, and, they look like they banked up, if they look like they're having something, is that why you choose them? Or is it something else? You see something else. Because sometimes somebody could be banked up. You might see that girl going to the wash house. She got, a scarf on her head, and she got, she just ain't fixed up right now. But you have no idea if you're just looking on the surface who she might be. And I'm not saying it's all about money, but what do you choose? Is the question. Number 2, have you ever gotten into a relationship based only on security and later found yourself in regret because of your partner's lack of maturity? Because of the lack of maturity, we thought it was all good, and then you found out that you were dealing with more or less a child, and it's a time for relationships, and it's a time that you grow into adulthood, and I would hope that you may be someone like myself. I desire someone, an adult. I don't desire a child, I desire an adult to be with. And that doesn't mean that it's always on age. You have some people of certain ages that still children. So, that's up to you. This message from me to you, counselor. All right? Number 3. Do you believe that stronger, secure relationship partners are much harder to stay with and deal with in relationships than weak, immature partners? Do you believe stronger, mature partners, strong-willed partners, strong, independent partners it's more harder to deal with than immature partners? Some people believe that they get someone underage, that it would be easier. We talked earlier in class about this, and some people believe that some strong-willed individuals are more hard to deal with than a younger person that don't know much. Because they feel that a lot of people that's independent are really, really set in their ways, and it's hard to deal with that for some people. I'm not saying these per se, but it's hard to deal, they say, to deal with someone that's got it all together and strong-willed, and you can't tell them nothing, there's no room, they know it all. So that can probably be a hard thing to deal with. All right? Number 4. Do you prefer weak, immature partners over strong, mature partners? Now that sounds like the same, but not quite. You know, do you prefer? What do you prefer? You know, it's not what's harder to deal with. What do you prefer? Because you still might go into what's hard to deal with. You might choose that to deal with the harder to deal with than the softer to deal with. You know, so, number 5. Do you believe a man or woman who is dealing with domestic violence is strong or weak if they call the police? Now, we're dealing with a domestic violence class that I'm dealing with you guys on. Do you believe that the person is strong or weak if they call? Some would say, you know, with that street mentality, they would say, oh, they some suckers. Oh, they put the police in our business. Oh, they did this, they did that. You know, but should they really sit there and let you beat the you-know-what out of them, the hell out of them? I mean, really? Though? You know, they need some help. And family, at this point, probably is not getting involved. She probably don't want to call family because she probably believes if she called family, somebody would probably die. You know, so there's a lot of times that the victim is yet defending, you know, the perpetrator or the violent active person. They're defending him in such a way or they want to save him even though they're getting their brains beat in. So, there's something to think about. You know, some would say that strongness comes when they finally step their game up and report this abuse that's happening to them because it's not right. All right? All right. Moving right on. Number 6. Have you ever been willing to sell yourself in a relationship to have some of the things that you wanted and needed? Have you ever been willing to sell yourself? I mean, they say if you don't stand for something, you will fall. Fall for anything. You will fall for anything. You know, so, you know, but many times for a price, you know, it's not that bad. You know, many times we have people that have been abused in their own family at such a young age that it doesn't really matter about selling themselves. At least they feel they're getting something, right? Then they got some other people that didn't grow up with strong morals, and somebody can pay them to do almost anything. You know, hang from the ceiling or whatever, hang off a building with no clothes on. I mean, it can go on and on. You know, but can you be bought for a price? Can you be bought for a price? Number 7. Has your immaturity ever had your mind locked into a false sense of security that had you isolating your relationship partner around you and only you? You know, many people be like, look, man, she ain't going nowhere, he ain't going nowhere. You know, and every time the guy or girl is trying to leave the house, they party, where you going? Where you going? I'm just going to the store for a minute. I'm going with you. You know, and all that kind of stuff. Won't even let them go to the store, get no bread. Go get some meat for the house, some cooking food or something. Some of us just won't let them know. What's wrong with you? Let them know. You know, because if they fly away like a bird and come back, it was meant to be. But don't hold a bird hostage. Don't hold a person hostage. It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. All right? Number 8. Are you secure and mature enough to allow your relationship partner to go to work and spend time with family and friends without you calling them every 30 minutes when they're out of your sight? Are you secure and mature enough to allow your relationship partner to go to work and spend time with their family and friends without you, and without you calling them, and without you being there, and without you calling them every 30 minutes to find out what they're doing when they're out of your sight? I mean, are you secure enough for that? Or do you have to be everywhere they are? You know, are you troubled like that? This is a case. This can be charged also as false imprisonment. You must let your partner go. You must not put chains on them. You must not hold them hostage. Don't do it. All right? Number 9. We're going to close this out. Does your immaturity and lack of security in relationships have you leaving ugly messages, ugly, nasty messages when your partner is out of your sight and they don't answer their phone when you call them? Does your immaturity and lack of security in relationships have you leaving ugly, nasty messages when your partner is out of your sight and they don't answer their phone? Many times we find ourselves with that ugly spirit inside of us, with that insecure spirit inside of us. We can find you can't drive our nice car. Oh, and we find ourselves when they leave, right? They ain't been gone but 30 minutes. We call them, what you doing? Or whatever. And if they don't answer the phone, we say, hey, babe, I was just calling to check on you. And you say, okay, fine. I was just calling to check on you, right? So that's that. She still ain't called you back. And then you call her again, right? Hey, you might not have got my first message, but I'm calling again just to see is everything all right. And did you get enough money when you left? And I'm just calling to check on you. Now, let 3-4 hours go by and you don't get a call from her and she doesn't answer her phone. Many times, people with these domestic violence issues tend to call her and start leaving ugly messages. Call about, yeah, you beat, you tramp, you this, you that, or vice versa. She's calling him tramp, calling him the B word, calling him all kind of names, telling him, well, or he's telling her, yeah, well, if you're going to mess with somebody, you better get paid for it. I mean, we get nasty. We get nasty. We get to call as a person we claim to love a tramp, this or that. Very ugly. Just saying all kind of nasty stuff. And then the sickness of how a person switch up after calling her all them nasty names. He calls again, or she calls again, and says, hey, boo, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean to call you those names. I hope you can forgive me, right? And then he's back and forth all day until hopefully she answers the phone. But then again, in some situations like that, if he gets the message, it might be best not to ever come back home. So you might want to think about that because we're pushing our mates away from us with that kind of behavior. But again, thank you again for attending my class, the lesson and the blessing with Mr. James Horton, your counselor. Thank you.